Okay. So we got when you're the best in the world but no one cares from Stu Cube. Okay. Let me see what is going on with Rubik's Cube. Oh, that's like the counter. And it's like 745. Woo!
I have never seen a man be this good at what he does and have to wait this long to prove it. It took 8 years for this moment to finally come to fruition. And when it did, absolute chaos broke out. Everyone was waiting for Luke Garrett to finally break his first world record.
Dang.
But something's off here, because Luke Garrett should not exist. He wasn't supposed to.
That's crazy. He did all of that with one hand. And he did it lefty on top of it. Like, bro, like I'm like right hand dominant. My left hand is so bad, like dexterity wise. That's crazy.
To do this because the way he plays the game is fundamentally impossible and no one's realizing it. The Rubik's Cube world record with 2 hands has always been what defines the title of best cuber alive.
Best. Okay, so I don't know a dick about ass for like the Rubik's Cube community. I can't do a Rubik's Cube. I have put time or effort into like learning the patterns and whatnot. It is what it is. But this is very cool. I didn't know that there's like an overarching title of like best cuber alive, and it's like it would make sense to be like, because it's like the most like 2 hands is like the most relative to most people. But then you want to do stuff like one hand or blindfold or like juggle Rubik's cubes and solve them really quick. That's a little bit out of everybody's reach. I think the best cuber alive, I mean, it's pretty good to like just go to like the 2-hand one.
Yiheng Wang is considered the best in the world right now because he holds it. In fact, he's broken it 7 times in a row.
That's crazy. He just gets faster and faster.
But somehow, this world record in one-handed just moved Luke into a realm I don't think anyone will ever reach again. The World Cube Association
He got so excited he was going to stand up on the chair, but he fell.
has a total of 17 official events, ranging from
17 official events. I didn't even know. Bro, this is crazy. There's this many events. I guess this is like your standard one. But what's this 4 one? Is this like baby's first Rubik's Cube? But then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like a 4x4. And then this is a 5x5. 1, 2, 3. And there's a 6x6 and 7x7. And then what is this? Like one hand? One hand, 3x3. And what is this, like pentagon? Or like a star shape? You about to like summon demons with this shit, dude. That's hilarious. And you got like a pyramid. And what is this? 1, 2, 3, and a pencil? What is that? And then the circle. Oh wait, this is like super timed? Is this a timer? I don't know. I don't know what this one is either. But like, is this the shape of the cube that you're going in? Oh wait, is this like 2 cubes? Like 2 3x3s? But what's this one? Oh, is this like 2? And then 3, and then 4, and then 1, 2, and then 5? Is this 5 cubes? Did I hopefully I did this one right. Because I've never seen these symbols before. I'm just guessing.
from the classic 3x3 Rubik's Cube to the Pyraminx to
The Pyraminx? Bro, I am learning so much.
solving a 5x5
Oh, that's like the blindfold and the paper. Oh yeah, because we remember the old blind speed run of Elatrion and the bullshit that happened with that. All right, we remember that with the blindfold shit. So it's good that they implement the paper, like you can't look at it.
blindfold. And for the entirety of the sport's history, there has only been one way to make an accurate guess at who the true best in the world is. And it hasn't been made very public at all. In fact, it isn't even listed anywhere officially. Sum of Ranks combines a competitor's world ranking for all 17 events together for an SOR score. The lower your rankings, the lower your score, the
Okay.
better. And on January 11th, after
Okay, so it's like it actually makes sense. It's like the more number ones you get. So what'd you say? There was like, was it 14 events or something? Or okay, was it one, two? Okay, so 14 events. So if you take a number one in all of those, your source score is like 14. So it's like golf. The lower the better. Okay, that makes sense.
7 years, light was finally shed on the stat when Luke took first place with a score of 1389, dethroning Martin Vitale Egdahl, who had
Holy shit. Bro, what's the point of this one? The 2x2? You're measuring, like, that guy did that shit in like a second.
held the number one spot since 2018. This has always been the only way to measure overall greatness in cubing, but it comes nowhere near showing just how much of an anomaly Luke truly is, because the way in which he took the spot for best cuber in the world has never been seen before and will probably never be seen again. You see, if we
Dang.
actually look at the top 10 for the SOR rankings, Luke's best events are very, very different from everyone else's who ranks highly. To be number one in the world for some of ranks like Luke is, you need a strategy. This means choosing.
I mean, just be good and fast. Isn't that the strategy? Oh shit, this dude is forcing himself to be in the zone. He got the soundproof things over his ears. Bro, that's crazy. I never would have thought about that.
Which events you're going to get extremely good at.
He did that shit in like in less than 2 seconds. That's insane.
And which ones it's okay to be just alright at. This is why most high-ranking cubers you'll see on this list are really good blind solvers, or those who main side events. Less competition in an event means more opportunity for a high ranking. What's weird about Luke is that he is the single biggest contradiction to this rule we've ever seen. As an event's level of competition rises, his rank improves. He places higher. This is the exact problem with some of ranks, because some events are much harder to rank highly in than others.
Okay, I get it. So I would imagine that 7x7 cube is like insanely hard versus like your standard 3x3.
It tells you how good someone is at everything, but it doesn't tell you how hard that greatness was to achieve. To truly understand Luke Garrett's dominance, we have to look at a stat I like to call WPS, or Weighted Performance Scale. Instead of treating all events the same, it factors in the weight of an event, determined by the percentage of WCA competitors who have competed in it.
I think this is the part this is the point where you lose most people that would be even interested in doing this, where you have like the weightings. So like all number ones are not created equal, because some number ones are just absolutely more exponentially harder to achieve than other number ones.
For example, 96% of cubers have competed in 3x3, whilst only 0.4% have competed in 5x5 blindfolded.
Oh wait, 5x5 blindfold. 1, 2. Okay, I didn't even know that that's what that meant. Okay, 5x5 blindfold. Huh. That's crazy. Yeah, you guys gotta come up with like some different events or some shit. The 5x5 blindfold, bro. You got like not even 0.5% of people that are doing this. And granted, like, yeah, that's cool. But if you're trying to get more people into your sport, I think this is great by having a bunch of different types of events, because it's like, oh, this is like your main event that, you know, is like this gold standard 3x3 whatever, and you know, most people are gonna be like watching this one. This is like 1v1 final destination, no items, 3 stocks, a type of deal, best of 3. But then you have like these niche events that are just like, it takes exponentially so much more brain power to like achieve that. Like if I look at like an old school like Halo matchmaking list, and I look at all the different types of modes that they had, there was probably like a healthy split of players like most people probably play TDM. A couple other people, a good chunk of people play like capture the flag. A good chunk of people play territories. What else? And then from that point, you have like your other whatever, like game modes that people like sprinkle into and like have fun with. But in Halo 2, all of those events or modes had their own ranked system, or they applied the ranking system to each of those modes. But I think if you have modes or events in this case that have not even 0.5% of the whole player base participating in, I mean, it's great that's a skill, but I don't know. I understand it's like exponentially harder for this as opposed to this, but I mean, what do you do if you are a Rubik's Cube person trying to determine events and whatnot? Do you take the event out and try to come up with another event, or like, do you just take the event out? Do you take the event out and try to replace it with something else? Or do you just leave it out and then just be like, okay, not enough people are participating in this. This shit's too hard. Yeah, we're just gonna like nix it from the score or whatever. I mean, that's a hard decision to make if you're like the third party officiating website trying to determine like what events are good, what events are bad.
Making 3x3 vastly more competitive than 5 blind.
I mean, yeah, it's 100% more competitive because there's so much more people. But what everybody doesn't understand is how hard 5x5 blindfolded is.
WPS takes that weight and divides it by the competitor's world ranking in an event. Add up all 17 events, and we get a WPS score for any competitor that has competed in everything. Simply meeting this criteria is very difficult to begin with, but if we look at the top 10 in the world for this stat, you can start to see how being really good in highly weighted events like 3x3, 2x2, and Pyraminx can boost a competitor's score. A WPS score of 3 is elite, good enough for top 7 in the...
Oh, so they revealed... They had to have just revealed the weights or whatever. This is kind of similar to revealing the matchmaking system in any FPS game at all ever. Any Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, so on and so forth. Pick your favorite FPS. Fortnite. Players don't know like the exact metrics that are being that is behind their like invisible elo or invisible MMR. Like, yeah, you kind of got an idea of like, oh, this guy won because he had like a shitload of kills, or he won because he moved around the map really fast. He's got good macro. This guy won because he just got good aim, but his macro sucks. He just covered a lot of the map. He's got good item usage. He can just build correctly. Like, there's so many little statistics that you can gather that FPS people have no idea that is being tracked from them. But in this case, the weightings of each category are just revealed. So in this case, what do you want to do if you want to be like the best guy? Well, you know how to do that because it's all right here with all the weightings. So you're just going to take the path of least resistance, all right? Least resistance, and you're just going to get good at the one event that is weighted the highest. Why would you put like excessive brain power in learning like how to get like a top 10 or whatever in all these other events when this guy exercised his entire brain into just one event, and everyone is like looking at him like, oh shit, he's really good at the one event. I mean, okay, but I'm good at like 5 or 6 events or something like that. That's where you start to lose like the majority of people
in the world. Ryan Pilot at 4.73 is the closest thing to Luke Garrett that currently exists, ranking top 100 in 3x3 through 6x6 while maining square 1. But above them all, widely considered to be the greatest all-rounder of all time, is Martin Vitale Egdahl with a WPS score of 6.17. He
Okay.
isn't just dominant in some of ranks, but good enough at the higher weighted events to land him the highest WPS score we have ever seen. But,
Ooh.
oh yeah, I forgot one. Far above everyone else, more than double in
What?
second place's score, is
No.
Luke Garrett with a WPS score of 13.19.
Bro, that's literally over double of that other guy.
This is where Luke completely breaks the system with a world rank of 7 in 3x3, the highest weighted event, 16 in 2x2, the second highest weighted, and of course, his one-handed world record that was faster than his two-handed average done just...
Bro, dude literally simultaneously just had like won everything while almost losing everything in about the span of like 2 seconds from when he finished the event to you see him like catch himself or try to catch himself as he was like on the chair. He's like, no, he could have broken his like hand, his wrist, his whatever. Shit, dude.
Just hours prior, he achieved the single highest WPS score we have ever seen.
Yeah, that's literally, it's like 13 something. It's over double of the second place, bro.
No one even comes remotely close. The number one in the world for some of ranks has never matched this level of performance in highly weighted events because it was never even seen as remotely feasible. This specific skill set has never been seen to any extent at the top of the rankings. Why choose to master the hardest, most stacked events when it's easier?
Why choose to master the hardest events? Because he's just going by the rules, dude. That's all it is. He looked at the rule set. He's obviously interested in all of like competitive Rubik's Cube stuff. And then he got to thinking, okay, what's the quote unquote path of least resistance to like the most number one spot according to this rule set? Well, I should probably get good at these like high rated events that no one else is doing because they're so exponentially hard. All right. I don't want to go through the rigmarole of the competitive stuff, the stuff that everyone else is doing. I just want the number one headband.
Though still incredibly difficult, to dominate the ones with less competition. Leading up to this moment, Luke's best event was always the most competitive one. It's the main event, the Rubik's Cube, the one that the most amount of people care about. I mean, 96% of everyone who's ever competed, to be exact. Every single cuber's skill level is highly measured by their 3x3 results. It might even outweigh the others more than WPS gives it credit for. And it's exactly why all-rounders are often overlooked. They thrive in...
Bro, the fact that this dude just did a 5x5 blindfold, that's crazy. That's insane.
in niche events, but Luke thrives in the most popular ones. But is it possible to be too good at everything? For the longest time, that seemed like Luke...
That's a dodecahedron. That dude just solved a dodecahedron.
Luke's curse, that he would never reach his
Or
full
maybe I'm just wrong. It's like, is that the Pentagon one? I don't know.
potential in any single event, because the better you get at one event, the worse you get at others, and Luke excelled at everything. But somehow, in the midst of becoming the best all-rounder in the world, he also became the world record holder in a top 5 weighted event.
Oh, bro, he even fumbled that last bit of time right there. Like, right there. I didn't even see it all those other times. On, like, this is why the most important, like, the pathway to, like, the #1 spot in the most quickest amount of time is to actually just VOD review your shit. So, like, look at this.
The best all-rounder in the world. He also...
Okay, this is going to happen real quick, but he's going to fumble on this last, like, row right here.
became the world record...
Like, right there, you see it? He's like, I got it. He could have been even faster. And this is, like, on VOD review. How many times did you show the clip and I didn't even see it? I didn't even see him fumble this. He fumbled that last little bit. He could have been faster.
record holder in a top 5 weighted event. By both statistics and weighting of events, Luke is undoubtedly the best cuber alive right now. Yi Hangwang's dominance is what everyone's talking about, and it is absolutely unheard of, but that's just in 3x3 and 2x2. Luke's absurdly high rankings in every event simply outweighs that, at least
What the fuck was that pancake looking thing?
in my opinion. And if you were to tell me that this year Luke becomes world champion in all 3 of his best events, arguably also the most 3 popular events in all of cubing, I would believe you. The truth is, Luke's skill set is so absurdly rare that most people don't even know how to process it. We constantly celebrate the best cubers in each event, and Luke finally has that recognition in one-handed, but when asking the question of who should be given the title of best cuber in the world, at least by the WCA standards, it has been Luke Garrett for a very long time.
Damn.
He is possibly the greatest all-around speedcuber we have ever seen. But when you're the best in the world, but don't fit into a single category, you become an outlier. An outlier so unprecedented that you might just be impossible to rank. But
damn.
It's not impossible to click the white button right under the video, and it's definitely not as hard as what Luke just did. You know what can be ranked, though, is you compared to a 6-year-old. And you are worse than the 6-year-old in every single
Yeah, I can't even solve one side of the 3x3, dude.
metric, just in case you forgot.
When your average is under your age. Oh my god. You're still in kindergarten.
But yeah, besides that, that's about it. See ya.
Oh my god. Bro, that is so cool. I had no idea that, like, I know Rubik's Cube was, like, kind of competitive. I didn't know that it was, like, this competitive with, like, the 14 different events and shit. That's crazy. Like, understandably, well, here's what I would ask. I mean, yeah, it's, like, competitive. I don't know, what is it called? Competitive Rubik's Cube or competitive cubing? I don't know the actual word, but, like, much the same way in other competitive things, I would, like, people do this shit for, like, just, like, the fun of it in the beginning. And then the more you get into it, it's, like, for ego, and it's like, ooh. And then a little bit after that, it's like, ooh, money starts getting involved. Is it, like, who makes all the money, if anything? Or maybe, like, even the top people don't even make money because it's, like, not even that popular of, like, a sport. I'm just, like, so clueless in this. Like, this is just interesting to me now. But yeah, like, what's everyone, like, thinking and saying? Like, I can't get over the video, just how perfectly cut everything is with the midair backwards flop from the chair. Yeah. Awesome video, bro. Totally not biased. I mean, everyone's loving this shit, dude. That's crazy to be so good at, like, I mean, you're so good at, like, the highest weighted events. It gives, like, this weird, I mean, unless you're in the scene, you probably have no idea, like, what's going on, which is, like, fine and understandable. But I mean, that's the part that kind of, like, is confusing for, like, a casual person, even, you know, just doing their first Rubik's Cube. It's like, oh, this guy's, like, actual highest rank, but he's only good at, like, few events, but those other guys are, like, number ones in, like, all these other events, but they're not weighted as much. Yeah, but I mean, shit, dude, that was a very cool video. I did not know anything about Rubik's Cube, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'm a fan now, so yeah. But other than that, that's it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.